All right, guys, let's get to the Colts game. Got a short week. Obviously, going to have a lot of emotions flying around, and then got to turn around and play a game on Thursday night. The Colts are coming off a scarily similar game to the Jets themselves. They played the Tennessee Titans, lost 34-31 in overtime. And again, having a short week for them as well. This is going to be a really tough game. I think both teams are quite evenly matched. The Colts are 3-5. The Jets are, I believe they're 2-5 now. With their other win, this is going to be a tough game. It's on national television. Both teams are looking to set things right. The Jets are trying to continue things and stay consistent and win again. The Colts are trying to right the ship after a tough game. That's a tough loss that went into overtime. It's going to be a bloodbath. I think it's going to be a really, really close game from start to finish. The very, very first point that we want to get into is the Jets offense against the Colts defense. Mike White will be making his second start. And if the Colts have any idea what they're doing, they're not just going to let everything be open underneath for free. So that's going to mean some tighter coverage. And that means that the Jets skill positions are going to have a big game again. Matt, who can make a big plays in this game to kind of set the tone and establish some consistency on offense?
I think you got to go back to your playmakers. It's got to be Carter. It's got to be Moore. It's got to be maybe we get Davis back as well for this game. Saleh has not ruled him out. These are your playmakers. We need to get them involved. They definitely did that with Carter in the last game, and even Moore saw a little bit more of a payload go his way. I don't care how you do it, but do it. And we think that probably the best way to do it is by carving up their coverage. Whether they're in man a lot, we showed that we can throw some man beaters out there and be successful at it. This will open things up for everybody, whether it's Mims, Davis, Cole, the tight ends. Everything will open up if we get these two involved. We saw the bag of tricks come out last game. It looked like Mike LaFleur sort of dipped into his Belichick bag throughout the reverse throw down the field. I forgot who threw it eventually. Was it Crowder? I'm not sure.
I think it was a reverse to Crowder, who threw back to White, who threw to Elijah Moore.
Yes, it was all very beautiful. And then you have the Philly special for the 2-point play. Keep the playbook open, right? Don't close it just after having success. Keep it wild, man. Just let it flow. Let these guys have some fun out there. If it works, you'll look like a guy. And if it doesn't, I mean, I don't think anybody will blame you for trying to be exciting out there, trying to get something done. But you got to be smart about it. One thing that we saw last week that has been plaguing this offense is that they just make these stupid play calls that make no sense, like having Crowder being your lead block for Moore, or the other way around, Moore the lead blocking for Crowder, or putting your tight end that has been a great pass blocker the whole season against their star edge rusher. It's the little things that make a huge difference, and they need to keep this up. Just play smart, but also play free.
Yeah, 100% agree. Got to exploit those guys in spaces. Got to exploit the Colts man coverage, and LaFleur has thrown in some good man beaters, especially against the Patriots. So I think he's going to have a couple ready for this game, and especially continue to ride Mike White's hot hand. Trust Mike. If White's hot, keep him going. Second level throws. If the Colts start to dare the Jets to beat them deep, do it as they were planning to do against the Bengals early. And if not, continue to let Mike White operate the offense, checkdowns, etc. As I said last week, if LaFleur calls the game with no fear, as he did, the offense is going to flourish. I was making that he was hesitant to call an offense for Zach Wilson because he was scared to hurt Wilson long term, calling a play Wilson doesn't like. So he was like just overthinking, just like Wilson. With White, we saw a guy that he's just giving the plays to White, and White was executing them, and he got into a flow quicker. Got to keep the same thing. If it starts bad against the Colts, if the Colts present quick responses to the Jets offense, LaFleur cannot flinch. He's got to adjust and trust White to handle whatever the coach throws at the Jets.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think on top of that, the strength of the Colts defense is their defensive line and their pass rush, and specifically DeForest Buckner. And the Jets' interior of their offensive line, minus Elijah Vera Tucker, has not been their strong suit this year. And I think that's a matchup that you can neutralize by trusting your playmakers in space and getting the ball out quick. And if they're going to play up front and they're going to try and squat on everything with man coverage, because I think the Colts play a lot of man, we all know that, they're going to try and play press. They're going to say that we're just going to get in your face, disrupt the timing, give our guys time to get home on the pass rush. That's where you trust your guys like Corey Davis. You trust your guys like Elijah Moore. You trust your guys like Keelan Cole. You say, you go beat that coverage. They're going to press you. You make them pay for it. And I think that there's opportunities for them to exploit this defense, especially if they can isolate Michael Carter on some linebackers. Because I saw a handful of opportunities where the Jets ran option routes with Michael Carter. There was one where it was a really good play by Mike White, too, because he was getting hit as he threw and he was able to get the ball out. But Michael Carter comes up and the Bengals are in zone coverage. But when you're going to be in zone coverage and you have guys isolated in space, the zone can turn to man really quick. Michael Carter gets isolated on this linebacker in his zone drop. The linebacker's got inside leverage. Carter squares him up, gives him a slight nod outside, and he's wide open. Just catches it and runs for a first down on 1st and 10. I think you can get easy yards doing that for not just this coming game, the rest of the season. And if the Colts are going to leave their other linebackers in coverage on Michael Carter, he's going to toast them. If they're going to put Darius Leonard on him in coverage, you take him out of their coverage on the back end. And I think that that is a really, really helpful aspect as well. If you're going to have to make their best player in the second level of their defense key in on your running back, well, now Elijah Moore is going to be wide open on the sweeps. Now you're going to be able to set up the screens the other way. You're going to be able to get more opportunities over the middle on the glance routes. I think that they can do some really, really good things against this defense. I think it's a really quiet, good matchup for this offense. And especially after what we've seen from Mike White and his ability to process quickly and get the ball out fast, I think this could be another good game.
See, but now we've had good matchups before. We thought we had a great matchup against Atlanta. It's all about execution. And last week against Cincinnati, every single person on that offense executed, from GVR all the way down to Griffin. So
yeah,
we expect that same kind of execution. I really don't think we can. I think that they're definitely going to revert back to the mean as far as how they execute and how they perform together. Mike White and his decisiveness will definitely help. But at the same time, I don't think we can rely on having that kind of performance 2 weeks in a row. I just find it hard to imagine that.
Yeah, it's certainly not guaranteed. And I think if there's anything we know about the Jets, it's that expecting wins back-to-back is never easy. But the things that I think can be consistent about this team are your best players. You expect your best players to be consistent always. And I think for the most part, the Jets' best players have been consistent. I think CJ Mosley has been consistent. I think Quinnen Williams has been consistent. I think Corey Davis, minus some time early, has been consistent for the most part. Elijah Moore has been consistent when he's gotten his opportunities. Michael Carter has been consistent from the get-go. I think those guys aren't going to waver. And I think as long as those guys can do enough, that the Jets can put up a fight. And I think this is a game where you have to lean on your stars, as what you would expect to do with your backup quarterback in anyway. I don't know if they need to have the entire team-wide great effort from everybody to have a successful offensive day.
Agree. The Jets shouldn't have to need GVR, McGovern, everybody to play their A+ game to have a good game. Maybe Mike White won't throw for 400 yards again, but the Jets offense can be consistent if their top guys are playing well.
Yeah, it's that simple. It's why you go out and get talented skill players, so that your quarterback doesn't have to do everything by himself, and that you have guys that can make things easy on him. And I think that was one of the reasons that Mike White played so well, is that the skill players did everything they could to help him. And Michael Carter getting however many yards after the catch that he did, that's just going to help Mike White. If all Mike White has to do is throw him a 5-yard pass right over the middle and Michael Carter does the rest, well, then sure. That's why you go out and get talented skill players. I mean, that's the game plan to me, is trust your skill guys to do what they do best.
Yep, 100%.
All right, guys, on defense, I think this is going to be a matchup where the defensive line is going to have to lead the way. They are going to have to win the matchup up front. The Colts offensive line is fairly strong, especially on the interior. Ryan Kelly and Quentin Nelson specifically are fantastic. Quinnen Williams is going to have his handful with them. As of right now, there is no one that is officially out on the injury report, and that everybody is expected to have a chance at playing. And the Jets might be injury free, which is surprising considering this is a short week as well. So this could be a game where if Bryce Huff can come back, I think it would be really big, because you need to be able to establish that edge pressure. John Franklin Myers was quiet in this game. I think if anybody on the defensive line maybe didn't have the most amazing impact, it was JFM. This could be the JFM game where he needs to set back up. The defensive line is going to have to set the tone, because the Colts have a really, really good group of skill players. And we've just seen what the Jets defense can do against a good group of skill players. And it's got me more optimistic than I expected to be. But you don't want to put the opportunity for Jonathan Taylor to take over the game. You don't want to give the opportunity for Michael Pittman to take over the game. T.Y. Hilton still has speed. He's still getting behind defenses. You'd want to be able to pressure Carson Wentz into mistakes, get in his face, and stop the game on defense before it even gets to the second and third level. I think the defensive line is going to have to step up if they want to really, really set the tone for this game and walk out with a win.
So, yeah, if there's anything that this defense has had trouble with, it's running backs out of the backfield. They've had trouble with it all year. Of course, that's a little bit more on the linebackers than the defensive line. But stopping Taylor, even as a runner, is going to be very difficult. Mixon is great, but he is not Taylor. Taylor he's an all-around running back that gets you with his speed, his vision, his cutback ability. Every single thing he does is great. So it's going to be very tough for them to hold him. And as far as pass rush, they're going against a pretty good offensive line here for the Colts. I would think it would be interesting if to look back at the last few weeks at JFM and see, our team's paying a little bit more attention to him now. Is he getting a little bit more double teams? Is that what's holding him back?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because quite honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, I got to watch film. I really don't know, but he hasn't been great in the last couple of weeks. And against the Colts, the Jets are going to need that edge presence, because I feel like the Colts, they run their pass game through the Jets' weaknesses. The NFL is a league of matchups. The Bengals run their offense through the receivers. The Jets hold up well. But the Colts, they're going to run their offense for the running backs, Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines in the passing game. And they love to use their tight ends, tight end screens, tight end crossers over the middle with Mo Alley, Cox, and Jack Doyle. So it's matchup-wise not good for the Jets. How do the Jets fix it? D-line, pressure, smart reading screens, and they're going to be the most important unit against the Colts. If the Jets want to hold up in short week, they're going to need their defensive line. In short week, offenses go to their staples usually, and the Colts are going to go to their staples. Screen passes to the running backs, screen pass to the tight ends, Nyheim's in space, and it's all on the linebackers and D-linemen to make those plays and stop the Colts offense.
Yeah, Vitor, you just made the point that I want to expand on that I think is the perfect ending point. And that is that when teams are in short weeks, they're going to go back to what they do best. And I completely and totally agree. Where my original thought for this game was, defensively, you got to try and throw some disguise in. You got to try and confuse Carson Wentz, make him hold the ball a little longer, give your defense the opportunity to get out, and your defensive line the extra second to get home. But I don't think they're going to do that, because I think they just saw what their base coverages can do, and they saw them play very well. And the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think they're, especially on a short week, the Jets are going to come out in their more vanilla defense and trust in their guys to be able to hold up. That's why the defensive line is going to really, really need to have a big game, because the defense behind it might not be that complicated. Carson Wentz may not have to be thinking as hard. And so if he's going to be able to decipher quickly, defensive line is going to have get home sooner to take away that time. I really think that this is going to be a game that if the Jets win, it will be because their offense was able to stay efficient and their defensive line was able to get home. If those things don't happen, I think it's going to be a tough day.
Yeah, and one more point here, Jets defense will have to play well in the red zone, because I think the Colts are going to move the ball on short throws and etc. It's part of the Jets defensive scheme. But if the Jets defense in the red zone can hold the Colts to field goals, Jets have a good chance to win this game.
Yeah, it's like I said with Taylor, not just Taylor, you got Nyheim Hines as well that can come out of the backfield. I think they're going to take a page out of the Jets playbook and just kill us with the short stuff and drive down the field. That red zone defense is going to be very important. But Carson Wentz is every now and then he's going to Carson Wentz. I'll make him a verb. He's going to Wentz every now and then. And we need to take advantage of that. We need to play off this, our first interception of last week, and maybe stack some more. I think that would be a great way to really clinch this game, is to get those turnovers under our belt and score off of them.
Yeah, winning the turnover margin is never a bad thing. Regardless of anything else, winning the turnover battle never hurts you.
Yeah, 100%.